What's up, Halo Mega Bloks fans? Today, I've got another Clash in the Ring blind bag that I'd like to review with you. With that, we'll get right into it. The code for this bag ends in 46. So far, all the cases are coming out with the same numbers, but all you really have to pay attention to is these last two. So now we're going to open this bag carefully. As carefully as possible, anyway. So as you may have seen, I have reviewed the Flood recently, and I think this series is a very interesting series, seeing as how most characters were very army buildable. Maybe they weren't super unique, but then again, we had a lot of Spartans, and it's debatable how much somebody wants to army build the same number, or same colors as Spartans over and over, but they had great weapons. So here you can see from the pieces that I have here the ultra rare of the series. It's the Covenant ship. I thought I would do a quick build of it here with you together, and then meanwhile just talk a little bit about it and probably the ramifications for the collecting community, seeing as how this is the next case for the next couple of months. So here you can see the list of pieces. It has its own instruction guide versus the normal one, telling you the rarities of all the sets. We still have instructions here on the back, so that must mean that we have a lot of instructions here on the front. So it'll be a little difficult to build on camera, but I figured I would just talk and build at the same time. You can see, I'll mention it now, with normal sets, you do not have like which pieces you're going to use in each step. So actually this is a little harder to see and probably build, but that shouldn't be a big problem, other than the fact that we have a heap of purple. So I know many people are very disappointed when we get this ship kind of sets over and over again as the ultra rare of the blind bag series. Particularly, for example, we've had the Spirit of Fire and the Forward Unto Dawn, I think, before, or the Infinity. Here I have the Spirit of Fire, which was from the Battle for the Ark series, so you can see kind of what a ship looks like. And before we move any further, for scale, I will just put a Combat Elite Miner there. So you're getting a lot of pieces for the price, maybe, but is it really comparable to the prices, the price of pieces for a set? And again, all these pieces are very small, so they don't have much probably value to you for other kinds of building. So you're definitely going to use them probably to build the ship, for example. Another problem is that they're very easy to feel for. And what I've noticed too is that these cases are, the same figures are placed in the same locations every single time in every case. So these ships tend to be the first two bags they're the first bag on either side of the tray. So somebody just grabbing randomly might grab the first two in the front, and every single time they will grab, if it's a fresh case, both of the ultra rares. And I think that's a problem, one, because people who are just grabbing randomly, not using codes, don't want that kind of continuity of figures, I suppose, or if you're just grabbing the last three in the back, who wants just three of the Marine, maybe, probably not everybody, seeing as how it's a random toy kind of thing. And if you're really invested in getting the right characters, then you probably will look up the codes. So I think that's a mistake. But also with this, I'm wondering, I like that we have this mini build of the Covenant finally, because we already had UNSC ones. So I feel like it would be wrong of them to not have put out a Covenant one. And I don't think there were too many options for Halo CE themed blind bag series. So, I'd like to know your thoughts in the comments below. You can let me know, what do you think they could have replaced this with if you want them to have replaced it? Or we could just brainstorm. I think there's not much they could do outside of probably main characters to make it more spiced up. I had mentioned they could have done an elite flood combat form of some sort, but I don't think that would have been appropriate as the ultra rare, because then it would be a very limited figure, which is one you of course want to army build. So that wouldn't have made too much sense. And other figures I could think of would be a Master Chief style one, but that was just in the Halo Heroes Series 10. And Cortana, which was also in Halo Heroes Series 10, and I definitely don't think she would make a return to being a blind bag figure after her notorious run in Series 4, where she was the awesome figure everybody wanted to get. Oops, I made a little mistake building already. Here we go. Multitasking, it's a good life lesson, even when you're building. So here's what it looks like so far. Sorry if the quality of this video is not great. It's more a discussion, I figured, more to talk as a community and try and figure out what's going on with the Mega Bloks here. I'm definitely impressed with the way they built this, even having not finished it yet. I think that this was a good build, especially for the amount of pieces and, for the for what it is, you know, being just a blind bag thing, I think they did a really good job with the scale of these. And also making it something, you know, some people are going to want to collect this. Like, for example, if I had more of these UNSC ships, or even if I didn't have more UNSC ships and I wanted to make them outnumbered, like they tend to be in the game, well, then I have a great reason to go and buy more of these Covenant ships. It could be, for example, a mini mock of the Arbiter's fleet, destroying Reach, maybe eventually. We know in the next wave of the Halo Infinite sets, we're finally going to get a piece of the ring mini build. So if somebody collected a lot of these ships and also has maybe a full ring, for example, or even just using that part of the ring, then now we can build a Covenant fleet that is attacking the ring, which is going to be really cool. And I think people probably didn't see building up to that. I think that was really smart of Mega Construx, that now they've made a reason to make these ships like very valuable for some people for display. Which is, you know, it's just some sort of, I guess it could even be an afterthought of theirs to have done that, but it's going to pay off for sure, I think. And the Covenant ships, I haven't seen many redesigns, or I haven't noticed as much redesign as maybe the UNSC ships. So it shouldn't be a problem going into the new game. Like, probably the ships will look similar, as we've already seen leaked images of the Covenant Elites being in the game. I'd assume they have the same gear, even though the Banished kind of ships are going to be very, very different than what we've seen before. Which is interesting, of course. I think some of the new sets, we might as well talk about it a little bit now. I think some of the designs are ugly, and it doesn't seem like there's a lot of weapon variety, even though a lot of it's new. So, as an long-time Halo fan, there's time for a little bit of worry. But as somebody who's optimistic about Halo's future, it is time to get excited. So there's the mini build. It took probably, I don't know, 5 minutes on camera, but that's a result of not having complete focus, of course, and being a little far from the instructions. So we'll try and get some focus on this now. There it is. So I built it quickly. The pieces could be on straighter, but this is what it looks like. Maybe it's a little thin, and maybe you don't like this piece in the rod the way it sticks out, but I'm sure you could remedy it yourself if you have a problem with that. It looks pretty good from all angles, all directions. Is it worth your $3? I'm going to say definitely. As a collector, you will want to have at least one. That's what I tend to do, is I'll collect a full series of blind bags, sealed and unsealed if I can. And that is what I've done with the Halo CE Clash on the Rings series of blind bags. So with that, that's it for this video. Just, you know, leave some comments below. Let's get a discussion going. What do you think about this ultra rare? Does it live up to other ultra rares? I think this is a very good example of a good Halo CE ultra rare, but we already had them in a different series. So is this a contender to take that kind of spot? Definitely not as good as a gummy, I'm sure we could all say. But with that, that's the end of this video, and I'll see you on the next one. Happy hunting, collectors. Peace.